And we're live on Facebook. Hello. So,
Hello.
welcome. This is Joe Milton of the International Society of Professional Wedding Photographers, the ISPWP. And today we are talking with Miguel. Is it Miguel or Miguel? Sorry if I get
Yeah,
the
the first one,
pronunciation
the
right.
first one.
Miguel.
The first
Okay.
one was perfect, yeah.
Okay. I had a friend called Miguel. He was very adamant about Miguel. So, is Ponte or
Yeah,
Ponte?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, and we get this right. Funchal.
Yeah,
Funchal,
exactly.
Madeira, Portugal. Okay,
Yeah, precisely.
a place I've never been, but now that I've talked to you for a few minutes, I really want to go there.
Yeah, you should, you should. It's a wonderful
Sounds
place
like
to
a
visit.
beautiful, beautiful place. And Miguel is a member of the ISPWP and has won awards in our contest there. So we're going to talk to him about what it's like to be a photographer in Madeira and talk about his business and look at some pictures and learn more about what's going on there. So welcome, Miguel.
Yeah,
How are you?
yeah. I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome.
Really glad to be here with you, and thank you so much for your invitation.
Oh, my pleasure. Great to have you.
Yeah,
So, why don't we just start with just introducing yourself a little bit, talk a little bit about your location or your business, and just give a general introduction to what's going on with you.
okay, okay. I'm Miguel. I'm 40, just turned 40 in October. Uh,
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I've been doing wedding photography for around 4 years, and I've been relatively successful at it. So the business is going okay, really good actually. I already have a lot of bookings for 2020, even
Good.
2021, so that is great. Um, Most of my business nowadays, probably around 50% of it, is destination weddings here. People that come from the US, from other places in Europe, actually outside Europe even.
Hmm.
I had couples last year from Taiwan, from the Philippines, coming to Madeira for their destination wedding, which is something unheard of for me.
Wow.
Not something that I would expect a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would imagine it's been a destination for a long time, for many, many decades, I'm sure, because it's a
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful location to get married in.
it's probably one of the oldest tourism destinations in Europe.
Mm.
We actually have one of the oldest hotels in Europe, in Funchal. And for probably until the 50s of last century,
Hmm.
Madeira was known as a honeymoon destination.
Mm. Okay.
It lost that idea, that concept, but it's coming back. And with that honeymoon idea, the weddings are coming also.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the total population of the islands? Because it's
Uh,
four islands, right? As I understand, but two
y-
main islands.
more than four islands.
Okay.
Some of them are little rocks, but two main islands. Only two of them are inhabited.
Okay.
The other ones are natural parks. In the main island, roughly 200, uh, uh, 270,000 people live
Okay.
here.
Okay. Yeah. So out of that 270,000, how many people get married every year? It's probably not that many.
Uh,
So you have to have the
there's
destination
records.
weddings.
Yeah, exactly. But there's records here of having 21, 25 weddings in one day.
Really?
So there's a lot of work for everyone here,
Good.
uh, especially now with the destination weddings.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you get the word out to couples, say from around the world, from Hong Kong or the U.S. or how do they find you, or how do you find them?
Yeah, it's surprising. I guess the algorithms from Google and
Mm-hmm.
Facebook help a lot. Because from the beginning, I tried to have a strong presence online.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when people look up Madeira and wedding photography, they usually find me at the
Mm-hmm.
top of the list. So that's it. At least when I ask them, that's usually what they say.
Yeah.
They found me at the top of the list for Madeira, so
Yeah, that
it
makes
makes it
sense.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you say would be I guess, some of the challenges of destination weddings. Because I guess there's two types of destination weddings, right? There's ones where the photographer travels. That's how some people
Yeah.
do it. They're in maybe a location that's very competitive, and they need to sort of expand their reach. As opposed to like you, that you don't really travel that much then for weddings. Most people come to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, you probably will do 2 or 3 weddings in the mainland, another 2 or 3 weddings in the other island, but mostly they come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's different. It's different from local weddings, from local people getting married here. The main difference being the connection, because with local people I can have 2, 3 meetings before the wedding, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the way I go about doing wedding photography is by getting really close to them, being actually their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them turns out to be a friend these days. And with destination weddings, I can still do that, but it's harder.
Yeah.
There's little chance to get together, to meet.
Sure.
Uh,
So it's
Many people don't.
mostly by email and
Yeah, mostly by email.
okay.
Some of them through Skype, but it's rare. People usually don't like to put themselves out there like
Right.
this.
Right. Email is so much easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the type of clients that come to me, probably because of the type of photos that I publish,
Mm-hmm.
are more introverted clients, so they don't
Mm-hmm.
find it easy to do this. So.
Okay. So why do you say that? How does your style attract introverted or
Uh,
clients?
not everyone, obviously,
Sure.
but I guess the type of photo is a more candid kind of photo.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking at the camera. Even if they look as though they're posing, they're not posing. Um, and for people who don't like to expose themselves that much, that's
Mm-hmm.
usually what they look for in wedding photographers.
Okay.
And I
And
guess they usually find that in my photos.
okay. There's that comfort level there that they know
Yeah, exactly.
you're not going to be, over the top interacting with them and telling them what
Yeah.
to do or that kind of a thing.
Exactly. I never do that. That's
Okay.
forbidden for me.
Okay.
I like to be really close. I like to make them feel really comfortable with me around.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll never be the type of the photographer to tell them, do this, do that, don't do this, and do that. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's a stressful day. I just want them to be at ease and feel comfortable with me around.
Okay.
It's like I usually say to my clients, it's a happiness business. I just want you to feel happy during your day.
I like
It's a
that.
special day, yeah. Yeah.
It's a nice phrase. I'll steal it.
Yeah. Feel free to.
So you started when you were 36 and so you've been doing it for 4 years. So talk about how you got started then. Because that's a little bit later than a lot of people start.
Yeah, it's weird even for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had my first camera. I was around, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that. A camera that someone gave my mother. It was a used camera. I think it was a Pentax, an SLR.
Hey, my first SLR was Pentax. Yay!
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I spent a summer with the camera, and the shutter broke at the end of the summer, and so there went photography for me because there wasn't enough money to get a new camera, and so photography came back many years later. 27 years later, to be more precise.
Mm-hmm.
I had a big change in my personal life when I was 33, and there was always that little bug that, okay, photography, don't forget photography. Now's a good chance to catch up. And I got myself into a basic photography course because the first camera I had was a film camera. Had to update myself. Other than that, only point shoots and mobile phones.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do a basic course. bought my first digital SLR, got into another landscape course, and it went from there. And the bug came back really strong. Actually, I went back and looked up in the trunk the photos from that summer, and I loved them. Obviously, this is something personal.
Yeah.
But I feel the photography bug already was with me back then. Because I remember spending the entire summer without doing anything else but photographing everything around me.
Interesting.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It went so much time went by.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had other purposes in life, other objectives.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
but I found too that for a lot of people, it's not like a rational decision. Like it's not like they sit down and calculate out, oh, I think I should do photography for reasons A, B, and C. It's more like it's always there somehow. You're just naturally attracted to it, or you naturally think about it, or you'll notice a photograph and appreciate it, whereas other people might not. So there's something, I guess, hardwired in photographers' brains, I think, that it just attracts.
And being inside the camera, like I usually say, it's so calming for me. Even in a wedding, which is usually a stressful day, being inside the camera makes me feel really relaxed. So, and that always worked, even when taking point and shoot photos or using the mobile phone, looking at photos online always made me feel relaxed. So, and the idea was always there. And that shift in my life kind of was like awakening call to get back into it.
That's very cool. So then how did you go from taking a course and taking a landscape class and getting your camera to shooting a wedding? Where does that happen?
Yeah, actually, two things happened. Late 2014, my sister-in-law got married, and the photographer wasn't able to go to her house on that day, and she asked me to do it, and I said, okay, no pressure,
Right.
let's do it. Actually, she loved the photos, and she allowed me to publish them. I already had a Facebook page, and she allowed me to publish the photos, and she's a nurse. And most of her connections online are nurses. So it's funny that even today I get a lot of requests from nurses, and I think that's the connection. In that same year, a client from Poland got in touch with me. They saw some of my landscape photos and they liked it, and they made me a challenge. Do you want to put us in those landscapes and take some photos? I found that kind of weird, but okay, let's go for it.
You said, how much you want to pay me for it?
Exactly. How did you guess?
That's right. I'd be happy to put you in that picture.
yeah, and that's what we did. And it went okay. And like the thing with the nurses, I still get a lot of requests from Poland, from Polish clients coming here.
Interesting. Yeah, you never know what kind of connections you're going to start building for situations or clients. So would you say then? It sounds like you're saying for weddings, would you say you're pretty much 100% self-taught, or have you like second shot for other photographers, or mentored, or taken classes or workshops or anything?
No. The only courses I did a couple of courses back then, but they were landscape related, basic photography related, not to weddings. Regarding weddings, I only attended a workshop that lasted for 2 hours. So basically, at weddings, I'm self-taught, and I started doing them on my own. Obviously, I warned clients, the early clients, that I was doing it alone and I lacked some experience, but they were okay with it, and things went really smoothly, and here I am.
Okay. And how have you maybe developed your talent, skill, experience? How have you developed that over the years? Is it just from shooting more and more weddings, or do you spend lots of time, following
I
other
do.
photographers? Or
Yeah, actually, like the ISPWP, I follow a lot of the photographers in the association. I also follow Fearless and other types of groups. And I think some of that comes from that. I always enjoyed looking at art and
hmm
pictures, paintings, and I think that also helps.
yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously, searching up online when I have a doubt, and probably most of all experience from doing weddings after
sure,
weddings.
sure.
I've been doing roughly 30 weddings a year plus 40 to 50 photo shoots, so
hmm
that gives you a lot of baggage.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it was a lot of. You have to have a lot of drive, a lot of self-driven motivation,
Yeah, yeah,
because I would,
definitely.
yeah, I did some workshops and things, but a lot of times I would look at a photo and I would try and go through the mental exercise of how was that done, right? And
Yeah,
then and then maybe go through and
yeah,
try to recreate it in my next wedding, or just kind of learn that by that way.
yeah, and try. And I always have this thing, even if I get inspired by someone else's photo, what I usually do is I'll try. That's the kind of guy I am. I'll try and make it better.
hmm
I'll try and give it a twist, different twist, something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, well, that puts your mark on it, right? You,
yeah,
you want
exactly.
to have somewhat of your own style and your own uh, signature,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
Okay.
It actually that's something that I'm trying to think about lately. How to put a signature on my photos,
hmm
uh, because I feel there. I try to capture what's happening,
hmm
even in terms of editing, post processing. I try to make it as similar as it was on the day, the lighting, the colors, everything. Nothing against going or warming up the photo or making it cooler or
hmm
making it more orange or not. Nothing against that, but the the way I see it is replicate what was going on.
Interesting.
So and that makes it harder to have a signature on the
hmm
photo.
Well, that becomes your signature. Yeah,
Probably
yeah, because
that. Yeah, well,
you know,
never thought of that
yeah,
that way.
that becomes your signature because a lot of photographers do have to use this term again, a signature look in terms of they'll use the same sort of toning or the same sort of actions or the same
Yeah,
sort of processing steps, and so that develops their signature.
yeah,
And some
yeah.
people are attracted to that, and some people aren't. So sometimes it's just finding your client that likes it sort of more
Exactly.
straightforward.
I defend that there's not a better photographer than the other. There's a photographer that meets your needs or not,
hmm
your
Yeah,
taste, your
yeah.
aesthetics.
So how would you describe your post processing steps? And do you do a lot of like cropping or toning or adjusting, or is it
I
you just
try.
basically just like adjust curves and that's it kind of thing?
I do a lot of adjustments, but they're really small.
hmm
I don't know if you know what I mean, but the degree of the adjustments is really short.
Okay, so you trust
Just a
yourself when
little
you're
bit of,
shooting.
yeah.
I was
I'm always looking
big
at
on
the Insta.
cropping. I
Yeah,
crop a lot.
I should crop less.
You should crop
uh,
less.
yeah, but I have this thing from probably it comes from the landscape
Uh, uh,
ideas. I always have the Instagram on the side of the screen on the camera, and
hmm,
I'm always trying to get the Instagram as perfect as possible because I know that helps a lot while editing.
interesting. Yeah, it's a good idea.
And
Uh,
I usually the you can measure, yeah, the light. I sometimes do it when I have more time, but usually what I basically do is I'm going to the location or to the spot where I'm taking the photos, and I'm already taking some photos and looking at the Instagram,
hmm
so I know it's perfect,
Yeah,
and then I go on shooting what's
yeah.
happening.
I would make a guess that uh, since the business is destination photography where people are coming to you, and it's a relatively small island, do you find yourself shooting the same locations over and over and over again?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was mentioning I'm getting tired of going to all the same places.
Yeah.
The island has a lot of diversity, which helps.
Mm-hmm.
We have high peaks. We have beautiful, luscious green valleys. We have the ocean. We have a sort of desert. The other island, this one is a green island. The other island is a yellow island. So you have some diversity, which helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I end up going to the same places over and over again
Yeah.
because they come here to get married, but they also want outdoors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can see that as a pro and a con. I mean, it's a pro because you'll if you shoot in the same location, you'll have a lot of experience about what works and what doesn't work there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But on the other side, it's once you figured it out, then it's
But
harder to push yourself to do something different, right?
yeah, I was talking to her and she told me, but it's always the same for you, but it's not the same for them.
That's true. That's a good
It's
point.
always special for them. So
Mm-hmm.
that helped me to relax a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to
And the
do it
couples are always
different.
different too, right?
Yeah, the weather is always different.
Right.
The couple energy is always different. I
Mm-hmm.
always try to give it a little different twist while I'm heading to them or while talking to them online. Always thinking, what can I do different with these guys?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that helps. And you look at the photos. I have a lot of photos with a landscape scenery, and they're never the same. They never look exactly the same. They're always different. So.
Right. Right. Yeah. How do your I guess when you have clients coming in from all different around the world, are they familiar with the islands at all? Has most of them been there before, or do you have to sort of introduce them to what's available?
Yeah, it depends on the source.
Hmm.
If they're British, they probably came here before,
Oh, okay.
because
Popular spot.
British come over and over again to the
Hmm.
island. If they're Germans, the same thing happens, but from other locations, usually the first time. And I serve sort of like a guide.
Hmm.
Uh,
And are the weddings mostly like since it's like a tropical? Would you call it a tropical island?
this is actually subtropical,
Subtropical. Okay.
but not a big difference.
Okay. But
There's
are the
usually
weddings typically outside or are they typically indoors?
It depends. It
Both.
depends. With bigger weddings, when they come with a
Hmm.
bigger family, bigger number of friends, it's usually indoors.
Hmm.
If they come just with a small group of 20, 30, 40 people,
Hmm.
they do it outside.
Okay. All right. And
For locals, it's always inside.
okay. And what about do you bring an assistant or a second shooter at all, or do you always go by yourself?
I go by myself.
Hmm.
I'm how do you call it? A one band man, something like that.
One man band,
Yeah.
or a lone wolf.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes my brother tags along, but only during dinner to print some photos that they might request.
Okay. And you like working alone? I know I did. Yeah.
Uh, I, I probably I prefer to work alone
Hmm.
because you don't have videographers around, you don't have second shooter to worry about. It's much easier to because you're free to do whatever you want to position
Hmm.
yourself how you feel better.
Hmm.
But I work a lot with other with videographers, and we get along really just well. And
Yeah.
I'm a good team guy, so I
Hmm.
team up. So.
Okay.
But if you ask me, would you rather do it all by yourself or with someone else? I would rather do it by myself. Yeah,
Yeah, I would too. I don't
yeah.
know.
I feel
It's
more in the
personality.
zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. More connected to the camera, not worrying about what the other person's
yeah. You're
doing.
more
But
connected to
there's
the
pros and
camera. You're more
cons.
connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're more connected to the clients
Hmm.
because if there's someone around, and sometimes there's one videographer, two videographers, a second shooter, a drone operator,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to team up with them. You have to communicate with them and know
Yeah.
where they are, and you lose track of the client and
Yeah.
what's going on.
Do you do a drone at all? Do you do any drone shots?
No, I've been
No.
thinking of that, but I find it hard to do other than photography.
Oh, it's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you got to
yeah,
put the camera down, and then you're fooling around with the drone. I get it. It's most people just have a second person doing that, I think.
yeah. I'll probably do it in photo shoots because you have some more
Mm.
time. You
Yeah.
don't have the constraint of time,
Mm-hmm.
but not in weddings.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that
Yeah.
because I'm the kind of guy, the kind of photographer that the camera is always here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to see what's going on or try and influence in a positive way what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to be by myself, not worrying about the drone or if the battery is going dead or if
Mm-hmm.
it flies in that spot. So
Yeah.
just photography.
Yeah. So go back to your style then again to your photography. So when you're at the wedding and you're shooting the couple, um, you said you come in close, but how much interaction or how much direction do you give, like even during the portrait session? Because that's typically where more documentary style photographers will have to do some direction or at least some
Yeah,
interaction.
that's the big difference from the wedding day to the photo shoot
Mm-hmm.
is that I have to direct a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
In weddings, I'm close, but I'm not directing. I'll probably tell them, okay, you want to get dressed, do it over there. The light looks better. That's probably the,
Mm-hmm.
the in terms of directing, that's all I do.
Mm-hmm.
If they see, if I realize that they're getting nervous or anxious with me around them, or their family is feeling anxious with me around, I try and tell a joke or two and make them feel comfortable with me there. So probably I would say if you go from a scale to 0 to 100 in terms of directing, I'm directing 10 in a
Mm-hmm.
wedding day. In photo shoots are harder for me because I have to direct
Right.
just a little
And
bit.
when you
But
say photo shoots, what are you referring to?
uh, outdoor photo shoots, the trash to dress photo
Okay.
shoots, the engagement photo shoots, that kind of
Portrait type
work.
sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably in the US call it more like a portrait session.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I try to do, the kind of direction I do is look, walk in that direction. The light looks better. Stop at that point. Tell her a joke. Make her laugh.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, if you don't have any back pain, pick her up. Um, I try and make it as fun as possible to them. Look, run. Turn her around. It depends on the couple,
Yeah.
obviously, on their
Yeah.
energy.
It really
Some
does.
couples, some couples, you don't have to say anything; they just
Mm-hmm.
go at it and you just shoot.
Right.
But for me, because I realize most of my clients are more to the introverted,
Yeah.
I have to do this kind of
Sure. Yeah.
games and
Yeah.
try make them feel distracted from being photographed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people
But
on,
I'm not the
on
kind. I'm not the kind that would go there and look. Put your hand here. Put your hand there.
yeah.
Turn your. No, I try and
Right.
be as concentrated as possible so I can get those little special moments that they have between them, even if it's just a laugh or a little smile.
Yeah. I think it's true that probably most photographers would rather be behind the camera than in front of the camera. So it's like
You'll
it's
never find me in front of the camera. This is an exception.
well, you're doing great. I found that whenever you get a chance to have another photographer shoot you, it's incredibly uncomfortable at first, but it's really useful to get a feeling for what the client feels like. And I would try and do that once in a while, just because I would have a couple of clients that I could tell were very uncomfortable at first being in front of the camera. Most people
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
their portraits
Most people.
taken on a regular basis, so it's an unusual situation for them to be in. So understand.
Yeah, I've probably been in front of the camera once or twice. That last year we had the baptism of my little one,
Mm-hmm.
and I invited a very good friend of mine that's also a great photographer to take some photos. And I was really uncomfortable, and you can see it in the photos.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Uh,
easy to be on the other side. So that was a good experience to
it is.
feel what other
It
people are
really
feeling.
is. Yeah. Did you
Uh,
find that you got a little bit more comfortable over time, or were you uncomfortable the whole time?
I got a little more comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but from time to time I thought, oh God, I'm being photographed. So
I know.
that didn't help.
Yeah. Well, it gives you a lot of empathy for your clients because I would find, not always, but sometimes, one of the clients was more comfortable than the other client. So they were like, one was really into it and one was not. So it's like that was even harder.
Yeah, sometimes I get that. One of them is so enthusiastic about it, and the
Yeah.
other one's like, I'm gonna drop dead in a little minute. Yeah, feeling nervous. And some of them actually feel sick. It's weird.
I know.
I've had it all.
Yeah,
I've had it
yeah.
all.
Well, it's like they're having an anxiety attack, and I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't blame them at
Me too.
all.
When I feel comfortable, like you're making me feel comfortable right now, I'll talk and I'll be at ease. But
Hmm.
usually I'm always on the defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's unusual for photographers to be a bit more introverted because again, it's not when you're a photographer. Well, I'll say for a lot of photographers, maybe not, maybe even most, it's comfortable to have that barrier between you and the person that you're interacting with because you have that camera as an
yeah,
intermediary, right? So it's not like I don't need to interact with them directly. I have this camera, which
yeah,
is like a
yeah.
safety zone, right?
Yeah. I interact with them, but
Uh-huh.
at the same time, I have that shield
Mm-hmm.
that protects me.
Yeah. Well, I think because a lot of photographers are originally, before they even get to wedding photography, like you started with landscapes, a lot of photographers are attracted to the creative process and the creative image. We're attracted to the art or the graphic design or composition, or that's the type of thing we're interested in. But I've always said to be a good wedding photographer, at some degree, you have to want to be involved and love people. You have to be involved in their story. You have to be
Yeah,
interested in who they are as people, because this is a really important day for
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
it
like
can't
I
it can't
told
just
you.
be about the light. It has to be about the people. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I told you. It's the happiness business.
and it is the happiness
Yeah,
business.
it's probably one of the most important, if not the most important day of their lives,
Yeah.
and you have the honor to be there
Hmm.
and be a part of it, to register those memories. That's really insane.
Yeah.
Sometimes no, probably most of the time, when I hear their speeches, when
Hmm.
I hear the priest or the celebrant, I feel engaged with them and emotional.
Yeah. So
That
true.
happens almost every time,
Yeah. So true.
and most people don't realize that. They just think you're there for the money. Obviously, that's very important,
Hmm.
but you do it because you like that engagement, that emotional feeling, energy
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I would find that when I was getting involved in the family or the family interactions or like their speeches or when things were going on at the reception and stuff, when you feel a closeness to that family and that makes you want to
yeah,
do an even better job for them because
yeah, exactly. That's it's. I relate to that a lot.
yeah.
Uh, I don't. Obviously, the awards are important for
Hmm.
promotion, making a strong presence online, also. But the truth is, it all comes from wanting to please them,
Right.
wanting to make that family have the best memories you can for them.
Yeah. And as a side result of that, if you get great images for the family, you also get good images for competitions. So,
Yeah, yeah.
well,
It's like
do you shoot? Do you when you're shooting a wedding, do you have the contest in mind, or are you just focused on
no,
the?
no, no.
No.
Something. weird happens. It's like I'm being in the zone, like I told you before. It's sort of a trance because when I get home, I usually don't remember the photos I took. And it's funny when I'm editing the photos or doing selecting the photos. Oh, I took this. This happened. Weird to feel that. So no, I don't have the competition in mind. It's hard to think about that during a busy wedding day. Obviously, when I'm selecting the photos, oh, okay, this is different. This has some potential. Let's try. Because the competitions and the awards are great for promotion, but they're also great as an ego check. You know, I don't know if you know what I mean. Because you send some photos and not all of them get selected. That's like an ego check. Come on, you have to do better than that. You missed here, you missed there. There's something to change. And the clients will appreciate the photos even more if you do those changes. So it's not only for promotions, always like an ego check. You're not that good, Miguel. Okay, let's do it a little bit better next time. Let's try and incorporate this in the next wedding, this or that.
We might call it a reality check that. And I caution people too, because I'll get some people who contact me after one of the contests and say, you know, why didn't I win? My pictures are great. And they are great. And I'll go back and I'll look at them and go, those are awesome images. But there's just a lot of other awesome images. And it's really hard sometimes for the judges to narrow down or I say, you know, I believe in these images. I think you're right to believe in these images. They didn't win this time, but I think maybe with another set of other images that they're up against or another set of judges, these are perfectly worthy to do well in a competition. So I say just keep on trying, re-enter them, and eventually they'll get recognized.
I know that the photos I sent for competitions aren't bad. That's the truth. I know they have some potential. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sent them. They're photos that the clients love more than others. Photos that catch my eye more than others. So they have some potential. But the fact is that there's a lot of great photographers out there, and it's really hard to stand out. That's the truth.
This is true.
You have hundreds and hundreds of really excellent photographers in the world. So. It's really hard to stand out.
I was similar to your approach in insofar as my primary goal was not for a competition when I'm shooting, but every once in a while I'd have, this would be a good shot for that category, and so that may drive me to do that. I'll go a little more effort into this one that I think may have more that I may not have done otherwise. But
I haven't reached that level yet. the most that could happen is from time to time when I'm shooting. Okay, this has potential. After taking the photo, look, this has potential. But I forget it because you have to. You have to redirect your attention really quickly.
Do you think that doing well in the competitions, do you think that's affected your business? I think that helps you to, I guess, either stand out or I guess like certify yourself to clients that you're legitimate, right?
Yeah, obviously that's the main point about competitions. If you manage to win important awards, you stand out a little bit more in front of the rest of the competition. That will legitimate yourself with the client. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. It helps a lot with promotion, and it has helped me a lot because I started entering competitions early 2018. And I won some. I actually only joined ISPWP, this year, and I've been winning some awards, and that's free promotion. That helps a lot, and I've noticed an increase of requests due to that.
That's good.
I won. Good to hear. I won Photo of the Year last year in MyWed. That also helped a lot.
Sure.
I've been having some good positions in your competition and others, and that everything helps.
Yeah,
because
good.
like I told you, there's hundreds of great photographers out there.
Sure.
So anything you can do to stand out is good.
That's good. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is to find good photographers, promote good photographers, offer a good and fair competition, and it's fun. It's fun to compete. I found I love competing. Good. I'm glad it's working for you.
Competition, when you look at it as in a positive way, helps you get better.
I think so too. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it.
Me too. Me too.
So, well, speaking of images, let's look at some. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can share this. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to not that one. I'm going to open up some images for us to look at. Now there it goes. Computer's a little slow today. I'm going to open up an image here, and then I'm going to look at the screen, see if this works. You see that image on Skype?
No.
I know why. I know why. Because I always forget. I have to say share screen and then push another button that says start sharing. So I'll try this again. Skype drives me crazy. Okay, so now I'm going to go here and show preview. Okay, how about that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Yay, it works. Yay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of your images here. This is an interesting composition. What's going on here? Was this at a wedding?
This was at the bride's house. I knew from the start because she told me in a meeting that shelf, those stairs going to their room upstairs was built by him, by the groom. And I knew I had to put that in there some way.
And they're incorporated into the bookshelf somehow.
Yeah, the stairway is incorporated in the bookshelf. Exactly. He's a policeman slash carpenter, and he's quite good at it. So I had to incorporate that into the photos. So she was getting dressed. I believe the room was up there. It was kind of an attic. And I went down and I told her to come down. And I took a photo. I actually took 3 photos, but I think this one, because the heel is still not touching, gives you a sense of momentum. Yeah, so that's the one I entered some competition, and it's been winning some awards. Not the best photo ever, but it's a great photo.
Oh, it has a lot of great. Yeah, it has a lot of great elements. You got the patterning going on. You got the white theme. You got the splashes of color from the books and the decoration. Once
I wasn't. We had a meeting a few days before the wedding, and I was there at their place. And when I saw that stairways, and when he told me he had done it, I knew right away that it would work. The color of books.
It's a great background.
Yeah, and it was a great way to showcase her shoes because she loves those shoes.
Very expensive shoes.
With weddings, it's the bride, it's the dress, it's the shoes. The groom comes in fourth or fifth place.
Right. But yeah, I'm sure she'd like that. Now, did you use Photoshop to straighten out the lines? Because to have these lines lined up perfectly would be important for this image.
Only in the corners, because I think I was slightly in the corners, and I think I only used lens correction. Because I was using it 24, I think. And I did some lens correction in the corners, due to and distortion. And I was lucky because he's a good carpenter.
Nice and straight. Yeah, but that's the type of extra effort that sometimes makes a great photo from a good photo, right? Just those little taking attention to detail.
Yeah. And the room was really bright, so it helped really a lot.
Okay, so here I see some influence from your landscape photography.
Yeah, it's still a big influence in my work, obviously. And it's probably what attracts destination weddings to me. Because people coming to an island want to see island photos. So this kind of photo appeals to those types of clients. Not to the local ones, but to foreigners.
Yeah, you can't immediately tell this is an island. I mean, there's cloud cover. It could just be the top of a mountain somewhere. But am I right in assuming that that's ocean underneath those clouds back there?
Part of it is, yeah. Probably 5 kilometers away into the clouds would be ocean.
Okay.
This is probably one of the few flat areas in the island. This is a big plateau we have here. It's roughly at 1,500 meters high. And it's a huge plateau and it has these beautiful trees. These are millennial trees, I think. They've been here since the discovery of the island. So
it's gorgeous.
It's an amazing place, and it's usually there's a lot of fog in that area. It attracts a lot of fog, which also helps with this kind of photo.
But like what we were saying before, you take a location like this, and on any given day, the light's going to be different, the fog's going to be different.
Exactly. It's one of my favorite places to shoot because of that, because it always looks different. And the fog makes different. The scenery will look different every time.
Is that the out of the camera fog, or did you enhance that fog at all? Is that?
No, I actually didn't enhance the fog. I just did some. I think I did some clarity in the brightening room, increased the clarity level, some recovery of shadows of the tree, and other than that, just reduced some highlights. Gave a little bit of tone, nothing else.
Nice.
It was a really easy photo to edit because the light was great. Because the fog diffuses it, so it's not a very hard light because of that fog. And the tree also.
And was this taken during the wedding day?
No, this was taken a couple of weeks after the wedding.
Okay. And do you just tell them, go walk over to that cliff? Just walk.
Yeah, I saw the clouds coming, and they would come in. Actually, a few photos later, all that area was covered in clouds. And I thought it was a good idea. Look, guys, really quickly go down. Pretend you're entering that cloud there. And when they were getting down there, I saw the tree and how I could use that curve of the tree to make it
framing. Yeah. That's a nice composition.
And it worked really nicely. And it's another photo that's been giving me some extra promotion because of awards that she didn't get. You have some abstract. Obviously, I didn't thought of the abstract idea, but when you look at photo, at least in my perspective, is them walking together into the unknown. That's what WED is all about, right?
Mm-hmm. Or they're going to walk out over a cliff, one or the other.
They stopped at the edge. It's funny, I live in an island, a very steep island, but I'm afraid of heights, and I get really worried.
Okay.
And I usually tell them, look, please keep 1 or 2 meters from the edge always.
Right.
Don't make me nervous.
You'll get a panic attack.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love this photo.
Yeah, this one won every competition that I've entered.
Yeah. So how was this set up? What's the story behind this photo?
I remember the bride and groom are Vespa fanatics. They love scooters, and most of the guests own scooters. And they brought the little girls on the scooters to the church. And they were a bit nervous and scared, and they were doing a tantrum. At least two of them I remember. And their mother told them, actually, both mothers were there on the side, and they were telling them to stand up and look at the camera. But because of the tantrum, I told them, well, let them sit down. They want to sit down, let's sit down. The bride's not here yet, let's wait. And I remember one of them was crying, and then some wind came, and I started shooting. Because I'm all wedding photographers, and not only know that wind helps in photos, because it creates movement. And this happened. It's a mix of a tantrum with wind. And it was really great. And the composition, the three of them sitting there, great.
Yeah, it's so many elements here. You got the expression, you got the unusual, hand positions over their faces. You have the wind blowing the hair and the dresses up. One of them was the light is lovely too.
This happens because of what I told you before. When I get to the location, even while I'm walking to position myself, I'm already taking photos and adjusting. And that really helps. When the moment comes, you're ready for it. You're usually ready. And I think that's one of the things that people doing wedding photography and started doing wedding photography don't realize. You have to always be ready. Mm-hmm. It's a great feeling to be able to capture this, but it's also stressful because you always have to be ready.
Yeah, we call it being in the zone or being in a state of flow. Sometimes people say, and I always like to say that people say, "Oh, it was a lucky shot," and I say, "Well, luck favors the prepared, and luck favors those who are looking for things." So
totally agree with you. Obviously, there's luck involved. But if I wasn't prepared, if I didn't make them feel at ease, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be possible. So there's a big intervention of the photographer, obviously.
Yeah. Here's a nice framing shot.
Yeah, this is
tricky exposure.
Always. It's one of the hardest photos to get is the bride entering the church, because you have a big difference from in the churches here are very dark, so it's hard to balance it. I remember this is something that's happening a lot. It's becoming a local tradition. This is a local wedding. They don't live in Madeira, but they're from here. At least she is. And this is something that's becoming popular. Is someone, best man or brother or someone close, opening the door for the bride to come in.
Okay.
It's something that when I started wouldn't happen, but last year and this year, a lot of people started doing that. And it's cool because you have a great framing and you have someone opening the door for the bride.
Yeah.
And on this photo, she was crazy enough to show me the sign, I'm ready to go. And that's the luck factor there.
Yeah, you have to be, for this shot to work, you have to be in just the right spot at just the right time as she's walking up, as the doors are opening. Yeah. Right.
I was already behind the doors waiting for her.
Yeah.
My idea was take two shots and get out of the way. And luckily, when I first saw her, she did that sign. Look, that was one of the times I thought, okay, this is a great competition photo.
Yeah.
Because of the sign she made me. And I knew the exposure would be good enough to edit it in black and white. So.
Yeah. And you had enough light on the guys inside the door. Did you have to work on the exposure there in Photoshop to bring those out a bit more, or were they really dark in the original?
Yeah, it's funny because on going to the right of the photo, it was really dark, and I had to recover some shadows. The side close to the door was actually had some highlights that I had to reduce on their faces. But that was basically it, because I was exposing to the outside. The outside was working. The problem was the inside.
It's a really, really interesting composition. I really like it.
Yeah, and I have some other photos from other weddings like that. They all look very good, but this one has the okay sign from the bride. I'm ready to go in.
Right. That makes it special. That's a little extra.
Yeah. Because like I told you, it's becoming popular for people doing that here. So it gives you another motive for photos.
Yeah. And, sometimes having near perfect symmetry like that is nice, especially if you have that little extra, like with the hand signal going on.
Yeah. And she was that kind of bride. He was very, he was very introvert, but she was really outgoing, really crazy.
Okay, this I think should be in like a tourism brochure for Madeira.
Yeah, this is the north of the island landscape, and they got married. And the venue was to the left. There's a hotel.
Is this the same couple that was crazy about their Vespas?
Yeah, this is the same wedding from that photo with the little girls.
Okay.
They had the ceremony. And they took the scooters to go on a ride around that area because it's really beautiful, as you can see. And I remember I did the engagement shoot with them there, and they also used the Vespas. And I remember those curves, the landscape scenery would be great for that. So I went in front and I positioned myself for the photo. I remember taking 3 photos here. There's one with only the two of them coming on the curve, right at the beginning of the curve, and there's another one in which they are closer. But I love this one the most because you get the bus at the end with the rest of the guests that didn't have scooter. Yeah.
That was my question. I was wondering if that bus was part of the wedding party.
Yeah, it's part of the wedding.
That makes it good for the client because they'll say everybody was there.
Yeah. Not everyone because the elderly stayed. But all.
I mean, it wasn't a bus full of tourists just getting in the way.
No, and luckily for me and for them also, the best man and the best the bridesmaid come in front. The yellow and the green Vespas are really close people now. I remember, I think their parents were on the bus also, because all the major persons that are important to them were there. So.
That's nice. So so how was it set up then? Did you tell them, let me drive ahead and get ready and then drive up, or did you have to sort of coordinate with them a little bit?
In the meeting they told me they wanted to go on a ride with the Vespas because they belong to a Vespa club here, and they wanted to do something funny with them. So they did some sightseeing with the Vespas in that area. And I already told them at the meeting that would give great photos. So at the wedding day, let me go in front. I'll position myself, give me 5 minutes, and you can come as you want.
That's awesome.
And this is what happened. We later stopped and took some extra photos with them and the Vespas, which are also great photos for them.
There's a lot of really nice Vespas in that picture too.
Yeah,
I
also love them. Yeah. And look, there's the luck factor also. I think the best man, they saw me in the hill, and they waved at me, so that's the luck factor there also.
Yeah, you didn't tell them to do that.
No. Actually, neither the bride nor the groom were waving at me, just the best man.
So we have a nice graphic image, black and white. Is this on the same mountain as before?
Yeah, these are those funny trees I told you about. It's an amazing area because you get a sunny day like the other one with a mix of fog, and you get days that are completely covered in fog, really thick fog. But the trees usually stand out. And this is Also a photo shoot done a couple weeks after the wedding. And I just told them, look, those trees are great framing, just walk between them. There's actually another photo. I don't think I asked him to do that, but the other photos also, I think it already won another award because when they stop in the middle, he picks her up and turns her around and you see the dress going flowing. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a lovely composition, and the graphic impact of those trees is just wonderful. It would, I would prefer this over just having like regular blue skies and clouds behind them. This is to have that stark relief and silhouette of the trees.
Because you don't get distracted. It all goes to them, and you can see that he's looking at her, and it's really great.
Is that a more common thing in your area to have a photo shoot after the wedding?
It is. You have I don't know if it happens in the US. You probably do a portrait session during the day of the wedding. We also have it here. We call them garden photos. We go to a garden or something like that and take some photos in between the church and the cocktail. But it's very common for them to ask for a photo shoot after the wedding.
Interesting.
Because they know the wedding is stressful, and sometimes they won't have enough time for the garden photos.
Yeah.
But they still want them, so they hire the extra photo shoot. And probably 95% of all weddings, they ask for the photo shoot.
Yeah, it's not as common here in the U.S.
They either ask for a photo shoot before the wedding or the photo shoot after the wedding.
Yeah.
But they always go for the photo shoot. Because they already know that on the day they won't have enough time to do this kind of photo. And they still want this more, I don't know, more composed, more artistic kind of feeling in the photos also.
Nice. And in many parts of the U.S., they want a portrait session as possible, and that's it, and no portrait session afterwards.
Okay.
But in other areas, like in Australia, they budget a long, like 4 hours or more between the wedding and the reception for a photo shoot. So,
no, that doesn't usually happen here. You usually get, I don't know, at least in my weddings, an hour at most, and you lose time with moving you around, so you get, I don't know, half an hour photos.
But having extra another day to do a photo shoot is wonderful for the photographer. It gives you a lot more freedom and a lot less pressure because the wedding day is your own schedule.
Yeah, to me, it's great because on wedding days I get into reportage mode and I forget all about this kind of artistic composition and just go from there. And I know that I'll have that extra day to work on that kind of photos that I know that they also want.
Yeah. So this must be your beach, close to you.
Yeah, this is the closest beach we have from my home. In Madeira, you don't have yellow sand beach. You just have this volcanic sand, black sand. And this is one of the few beaches that we have here. And I remember this was from probably, I don't know, my second photo shoot ever with a bride and groom. And I was pretty lucky that she's a great model. She should be a model, actually. Which helps a lot. Yeah. This is probably, I'd send it to you because it's probably from, I think, my second photo shoot after going into this business.
Because a lot of photographers who would not have a lot of experience would not have the confidence, I guess, to get the couple on the ground in that position, right?
I think they trust me. That's one of the things I try in meetings and during wedding day to make them trust me and feel comfortable to do whatever crazy thing they want to do during the day and the photo shoot. And that helps a lot. Trust
because
if they feel awkward with me, they wouldn't do this. I didn't ask them. Actually, I didn't ask them to lie down. They wanted to lie down because they had that idea of photos lying down on the beach. And Miguel, I'm going to lie down. Okay, do it. Go for it.
That's
what
like that.
Happened. Yeah,
All kinds have very strong ideas.
Yeah, it's like they help. They help a lot.
Here's like another photo shoot here.
That's from my first photo shoot. That was from the couple from Poland challenged me to do the first photo shoot.
This is your first photo shoot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at sunset, what you do is you try silhouette. So.
Sure, of course.
And the sun had a weird shape about it because of the clouds, and it was really.
So when you're doing your landscape photography, did you do a lot of sunsets? Because getting a good sunset photo is, it takes a little bit of experience to do.
Yeah, during the course and during those 2 years doing just landscape photography, we had a group of friends, and the thing is, you want different stuff. So you usually go for sunsets or for sunrises, and you get a lot of baggage doing that in terms of exposing. Because you have to have a very balanced exposure to be able to edit photos, recover some shadows, reducing some highlights, and that comes from landscape photography.
Yeah,
I realized that. Even today, when I do photo shoots, I always try and do them by sunset. Those garden photos during weddings are usually done close to sunset hour. If I have to steal them for 10 minutes from the venue, because I feel comfortable photographing during that hour. I know how hard it can be, but I know how to balance the photo for a good edit. I already know when I'm taking the photo how I'm going to edit it, and that comes from landscape photography.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to have that experience that you can incorporate into your weddings.
Yeah.
And with an island the size of Madeira, I guess are you more on the west side where you'll see the sunsets, or is the type of thing where you could, if you drive a little bit, you can get a sunrise photo, or go the other way, you get a sunset photo?
I'm usually more of a sunset kind of guy.
Right.
But you can always find a beach with a sunset or a landscape with a sunset. If you go up in the hills, you actually get sunsets above the clouds. So it's always a possibility. Always something I try to incorporate in photo shoots.
Speaking of shooting in the clouds, here you go.
Yeah, you have this. This happens a lot because the island is very steep and it's very green. It attracts a lot of clouds up there.
Super rocky mountains.
Yeah. They are really amazing. If you go through some of my more landscape-ish photographs, you'll see the islands as a mix between, I don't know, Machu Picchu and Lord of the Rings up there. Gives you amazing chances for photos. And this photo was actually published in a Russian magazine, a wedding Russian magazine, promoting destination weddings. And they asked to publish this photo.
Nice.
And it's from my third photo shoot. I remember I'd send you these photos because they're from my first photo shoots. And this is also another client from Poland. Guess why? Because the other client, they don't know each other. But I guess the algorithms, when I publish the photos and tag them, let other Polish people come to me.
It's good marketing.
And they're still a big source of my clients.
That's great. Yeah, when you have a location like that, you definitely want to take advantage of it, because not not all photographers live in a place that has such beautiful landscapes.
And the landscapes in themselves, they motivate you to do better and better. Because the landscape is amazing, but the light here is tricky. It's always changing because the weather changes really rapidly all the time.
It's rare. In this photo, I can see fog in in the background.
Yeah. That's one of the words. This is from the same photo shoot that you saw the girl on the beach. This was done on the same day. We went to the mountain to take some photos, and then to the beach later.
Yeah, I'm saying this was probably taken before she lay down in the sand.
Yeah, much before. I guess a couple of hours before, because we ended at the beach. This was the beginning of the photo shoot.
Okay.
And you can see she helped a lot because she has this good posture, this great pose. Actually, I didn't have to ask her for anything.
Yeah, that's really nice. It makes us as photographers look good when we have talented clients.
Yeah, but the groom helped a lot. See the leaves? He was throwing the leaves.
Oh, there you go. I was wondering, are those leaves on the tree? It doesn't look like it.
No, they're falling on the tree.
Okay.
They're not great photos, but they're my first photos in the wedding, the wedding industry, so they still mean a lot to me.
Well, I'll tell you, they're a lot better than my first photos, that's for sure. My first photos were terrible. I'm not ashamed to say it either.
I doubt that.
I do want to share. You sent some great pictures of your grandfather way back when you were much younger. I want to share one or two of those because I think they're wonderful. So, what's the story behind these photos? Because these look like just really nice first effort documentary type photos, especially since there's a family connection.
This is the last part of my first roll of film.
How old were you?
From that context, I think I was 13. I don't remember exactly, but between 12, 13, late 13, I guess, something like that. I used to spend the summers at my grandfather's house, and they have a little wine manufacturing business there. And my grandfather was kind of a leader. He was the boss. And this is during the harvest of the grapes. I don't know if you realize one of the most known things about Madeira is Madeira wine.
Oh, of course, right.
And I don't know if you're aware of this. This is an important piece of information for an American.
Okay.
I think the founding father, like you call them, they toasted with Madeira wine when they signed the papers for independence.
Oh, that's a nice little historical tidbit. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and now I got to go out and buy some Madeira wine now.
Yeah, you have to. And this is my grandfather is really important in my life. He's passed away a few years ago, but he has this. I get this thing from him, the being able to calm myself, to show other people some calm, make them feel calm around me. And I get it from him. And he's also a very peaceful man.
Yeah. Well, I can tell just from talking to you just for this 1 hour, I can tell you're a very calm, peaceful person. I'm sure you put a lot of your clients at ease very quickly.
Yeah, probably. I guess that's probably one of the advantages I have in relating to clients. And I get it from this guy here. And this is actually my mother on the right. So it also probably the most important persons in my life besides my daughter in my life.
Fantastic.
And my brothers. So it means a lot, and also because they were the first photos I took with the first camera I used. So.
Yeah, my first photos were of my feet, so these are way better.
Nah, I didn't show the feet photos because I also have photos.
Of course, gotta shoot your feet.
Yeah.
Well, Miguel, thank you. It's been just wonderful talking to you and seeing some of your photos. So thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, see, it was easy. You did great. It was.
And you're a great interviewer because you made me feel really at ease. And thank you for. I feel grateful to being able to speak to you for this hour. It's been amazing.
we'll look forward to seeing you again in real life someday. And good
Yeah,
luck with
come
all your
over there and we
future
can go.
endeavors, and good luck with the business. And best to your wife and child. And we'll take care.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay,
Okay.
same to you. Okay,
All
bye
right.
bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Miguel. Talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.